So I think it's kind of a waking up every day and taking your temperature, your spiritual temperature, and saying, where is God in my life today? Or maybe it's going to bed and thinking, where was God in my day today? And where should he have been where I didn't let him in? Being grateful and thanking him where he did show up. Doing the discipleship buddy thing here at Christchurch has actually been a really good discipline, because I meet with somebody usually once a week, and we quiz each other on whether or not we've been paying attention to God showing up. You know, I'm an external processor, so I process things verbally. So I'm not actually very good at sitting in silence and finding where God has been working. Having that person who you chat through things, sometimes you'll have something and then they'll say something and then suddenly you're like, oh, the floodgates open. You're like, oh, and there was this and there was this. And, you know, you're halfway through telling a story and you realize God has been working in something else.
I think the typical cliche of starting your day with Christ and ending it with Christ, with prayer, is good. Because it's really important to just want to do it our way, to just want to not recognize God as being the center and the compass through which we should be guided, but letting God and His Spirit be in charge.
When I became a Christian, the sort of discipleship training that I received then was that you should start every day with like a quiet time and maybe start off with 5 minutes or 10 minutes, with God every day and sort of see that grow as your relationship with Him develops. And I must admit that I tried to do that, but kind of almost felt like it was a bit of a tick box exercise. Actually, I've done that now. And you could then, feel like you've started your day with God, but actually tune out and maybe not effectively think about Him anymore. And actually, as I've kind of grown as a Christian, I've realised that kind of God loves those 10-minute slots, but actually He also is very present and loves the time in between, doesn't it? 24 hours, is a long time to wait to be with you again. And actually, one of the times that kind of was most significant for me was in COVID, where all of our boundaries were really kind of blurred, weren't they? And I kind of got into the habit of just a sort of ongoing dialogue with God just throughout the day as kind of like a means of coping, but also just knowing that our kind of boundaries had all changed. Getting to a point where I'm realising that actually God loves it if I just chat to Him during the day and that He's talking to me during the day. So, often if I'm driving or sitting on the train or washing up or any number of kind of mundane things, I just kind of let my hands do the practical thing and actually just let my kind of heart and mind just kind of think, where are you, God? What are you saying to me in this moment? And that's kind of really radically changed my relationship with God. And I love to see kind of how God speaks to me in like everyday things, that maybe when I'm gardening, doesn't happen that often, but when I'm cleaning, when I'm with my family, when I'm doing some kind of active thing, when I'm in nature, just thinking, God just uses those times if I'm kind of tuned into Him to speak to me. And often they're things that stay with me. That's often when I've really experienced change or growth or challenge in my life, when kind of God speaks to me through something that's kind of actually a physical thing, a tangible thing.
They're not coincidences, but coincidences of two people perhaps saying very similar things within a short period of time. Two things happening within a short period of time where you're going, actually, this is something that some serious prayer is needed over. Those words that just come out at you when you're listening to worship songs, things happening in close proximity to each other where you go, hold on a minute, I can't really ignore. The first one I could ignore, the second one, you can go, oh, the third one becomes a, hold on, God, what's the big picture here and what do you want to say? He often, always, despite my unwillingness sometimes to be silent for long periods of time, finds ways to continue to prompt me and speak gently and softly and sometimes shout.
Really letting God direct you, letting the Spirit of God guide you in or whatever you're doing on a daily basis. So as simple as just committing your day into Jesus' hands or God's care. Well, I've got Premier Christian Radio in my car, so that's when that's on, it connects to hourly prayer. So word for the day, prayer for the day, those sort of things. Because in that you discover something that can just be a point of reflection for the day.